Matthew chapter 23, verses 13 to 33. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the great damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say, Whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing: but whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind! For whether is greater, the gold, or the temple that sanctifieth the gold? And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing: but whosoever sweareth by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind! For whether is greater, the gift, or the altar that sanctifieth the gift? Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar sweareth by it, and by all things thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple sweareth by it, and by him that dwelleth therein. And he that shall swear by heaven sweareth by the throne of God, and by him that sitteth thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat, and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye are like unto whitened sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are full of dead men's bones, and of all uncleanness. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because ye build the tombs of the prophets, and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, If we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves, that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers. Ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell? We have in these verses the charges of our Lord against the Jewish teachers ranged under 8 heads. Standing in the midst of the temple, with a listening crowd around him, he publicly denounces the main errors of the scribes and Pharisees in unsparing terms. 8 times he uses the solemn expression, Woe unto you! 7 times he calls them hypocrites. Twice he speaks of them as blind guides, twice as fools and blind, once as serpents and a generation of vipers. Let us mark that language well. It teaches a solemn lesson. It shows how utterly abominable the spirit of the scribes and Pharisees is in God's sight, in whatever form it may be found. Let us glance shortly at the 8 charges which our Lord brings forward, and then seek to draw from the whole passage some general instruction. The first woe in the list is directed against the systematic opposition of the scribes and Pharisees to the progress of the gospel. They shut up the kingdom of heaven. They would neither go in themselves, nor suffer others to go in. They rejected the warning voice of John the Baptist. They refused to acknowledge Jesus, when he appeared among them, as the Messiah. They tried to keep back Jewish inquirers. They would not believe the gospel themselves, and they did all in their power to prevent others believing it. This was a great sin. The second woe in the list is directed against the covetousness and self-aggrandizing spirit of the scribes and Pharisees. They devoured widows' houses, and for a pretense made long prayer. They imposed on the credulity of weak and unprotected women, by an affectation of great devoutness, until they were regarded as their spiritual directors. They scrupled not to abuse the influence thus unrighteously obtained, to their own temporal advantage, and in a word to make money by their religion. This again was a great sin. The third woe in the list is directed against the zeal of the scribes and Pharisees for making partisans. They compassed sea and land to make one proselyte. They labored incessantly to make men join their party and adopt their opinions. They did this from no desire to benefit men's souls in the least, or to bring them to God. They only did it to swell the ranks of their sect, and to increase the number of their adherents and their own importance. Their religious zeal arose from sectarianism, and not from the love of God. This was also a great sin. The fourth woe in the list is directed against the doctrines of the scribes and Pharisees about oaths. They drew subtle distinctions between one kind of oath and another. They taught the Jesuitical tenet that some oaths were binding on men, while others were not. They attached greater importance to oaths sworn by the gold offered to the temple than to oaths sworn by the temple itself. By so doing, they brought the third commandment into contempt, and by making men overrate the value of alms and oblations, advanced their own interests. This again was great sin. Footnote: This practice of tampering with oaths was well known among the heathen as a feature in the Jewish character. It is a striking fact that Martial, the Roman poet, specially refers to it. Ecce negas, jus cum mihi per templa tonatus, non credo, jura verba, per anachialum. Martial, chapter 9, 94. End of footnote. The fifth woe in the list is directed against the practice of the scribes and Pharisees to exalt trifles in religion above serious things, to put the last things first and the first last. They made great ado about tithing mint and other garden herbs, as if they could not be too strict in their obedience to God's law, and yet at the same time they neglected great plain duties such as justice, charity, and honesty. This again was a great sin. The sixth and seventh woes in the list possess too much in common to be divided. They are directed against a general characteristic of the religion of the scribes. They set outward purity and decency above inward sanctification and purity of heart. They made it a religious duty to cleanse the outside of their cups and platters, but neglected their own inward man. They were like whitened sepulchres, clean and beautiful externally, but within full of all corruption. Even so, they outwardly appeared righteous, but within were full of hypocrisy and iniquity. This also was a great sin. The last woe in the list is directed against the affected veneration of the scribes and Pharisees for the memory of the dead saints. They built the tombs of the prophets and garnished the sepulchres of the righteous, and yet their own lives proved that they were of one mind with those who killed the prophets. Their own conduct was a daily evidence that they liked dead saints better than living ones. The very men that pretended to do honor to dead prophets could see no beauty in a living Christ. This also was a great sin. Footnote: A passage from the Berlenberger Bible on this subject is sufficiently striking to deserve an insertion. Ask in Moses' times, who were the good people? They will be Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but not Moses. He should be stoned. Ask in Samuel's times, who were the good people? And they would be Moses and Joshua, but not Samuel. Ask in the time of Christ, who were such? They would be all the former prophets with Samuel, but not Christ and his apostles. The Latin proverbs, mortui non mordent, and sit divas do modo non vivas, are both illustrative of the same truth. End of footnote. Such is the melancholy picture which our Lord gives of Jewish teachers. Let us turn from the contemplation of it with sorrow and humiliation. It is a fearful exhibition of the morbid anatomy of human nature. It is a picture which unhappily has been reproduced over and over again in the history of the Church of Christ. There is not a point in the character of the scribes and Pharisees in which it might not be easily shown that persons calling themselves Christians have often walked in their steps. Note: I cannot avoid the opportunity of here expressing my firm conviction that our Lord's sayings in this chapter are meant to bear a prophetical signification, and to apply to corruptions which he foresaw would spring up in his professing church. Beyond doubt there is a most unhappy similarity between the doctrines and practices of the scribes and Pharisees and many of the leading corruptions of the Church of Rome. End of footnote. Let us learn from the whole passage how deplorable was the condition of the Jewish nation when our Lord was upon the earth. When such were the teachers, what must have been the miserable darkness of the taught? Truly the iniquity of Israel had come to the full. It was high time indeed for the Son of Righteousness to arise and the gospel to be preached. Let us learn from the whole passage how abominable is hypocrisy in the sight of God. These scribes and Pharisees are not charged with being thieves or murderers, but with being hypocrites to the very core. Whatever we are in our religion, let us resolve never to wear a cloak. Let us by all means be honest and real. Let us learn from the whole passage how awfully dangerous is the position of an unfaithful minister. It is bad enough to be blind ourselves. It is 1,000 times worse to be a blind guide. Of all men none is so culpably wicked as an unconverted minister, and none will be judged so severely. It is a solemn saying about such as one, he resembles an unskilful pilot, he does not perish alone. Finally, let us beware of supposing from this passage that the safest course in religion is to make no profession at all. This is to run into a dangerous extreme. It does not follow that there is no such thing as true profession, because some men are hypocrites. It does not follow that all money is bad, because there is much counterfeit coin. Let not hypocrisy prevent our confessing Christ, or move us from our steadfastness, if we have confessed him. Let us press on, looking unto Jesus, and resting on him, praying daily to be kept from error, and saying with David, "Let my heart be sound in thy statutes." (Psalm cxix. 80.)